Hey, that was great. Awesome. Welcome to Sunny Days podcast. We're excited about this episode. Me in particular, I think. My wife's like,
oh, I definitely am.
Okay, good.
I found her.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
We have Mackenzie Paul here. Kenzie is what she goes by. And she has a fantastic story. And we're just like beyond excited. And probably for me, because so I have purposely, I know like the big points of your story, but I don't really know all of the ins and outs like we generally do. And I did it, on purpose, but Courtney knows a lot about your story.
I stalked you.
Yes, for a long time. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
When we found you, date-wise, was like in July of last year-ish, there's just no information out there,
Oh, I found you night one.
Yeah, I think it was.
Night of diagnosis, I waited for him. I told someone else this recently too. I waited for you to fall asleep, and I went straight to TikTok, and I was like, AML, leukemia.
Yeah.
And you were one of the first videos to pop up.
Yep.
So.
And it was great. It like
not that I wish it was not leukemia,
right.
You're like
you
your
were
voice.
there when I needed you.
Well, I'm glad you found me, and I'm glad I found you guys too.
Yeah, like your voice. It was funny. Like I get. So we watch all your videos on. So or I do. I think she does too. But I was like, so I see you obviously, but I hear you a lot. Just kind of talking or your poetry or whatever. And so it's just kind of weird. Not weird, but surreal maybe. Like when I called you to talk a minute ago, I was like, it's weird. Like I hear this voice every day. But it was neat. But yeah, funny. I'd love to. This is super casual. I want to share your story, and I think while we started this, and I think you know this, but for me, kind of like we just said, there just wasn't anything out there for me with my leukemia and my journey, and luckily my wife is kind of like a certified stalker. So she could find, people like you, I've connected with, I don't know, maybe a dozen people, but I really want, a thing that somebody could get really good information, but also just hear stories. Like, your story is vastly different from mine. Just in so many ways. You're further along than me. I haven't had a stem cell transplant. And I just think it's something I wish I had to be able to just kind of sit down and listen. But tell everybody just who you are and where you're from. I know life before this wasn't probably much. I don't know anything, actually. I just know you have a husband, and so I don't know what your life was like before, and I'd love to learn.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk with you, and I think it's awesome what you guys are doing, sharing your story too, and bringing awareness to the situation, because like you said, like when I was diagnosed, I was also looking for someone to relate to, and it's hard to find that. So shout out to your amazing wife for her stalker skills. I'm the same way. But yeah, so growing up, I'm from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which is all a very rural area, but I am from a town called Sault Ste. Marie, and it shares a bridge with Canada, but it's
really?
a very small, yeah. So I'm like, that's why Texas is so hard for me right now.
Yeah, it's like completely opposite, right?
Yeah, literally the exact opposite. But I grew up in a smaller town of population of like 12,000 people, and I had a great support system with my family and with my community, and like, coaches and mentors. I was always an athlete growing up, so I was a big runner and a basketball player and a soccer player, and then I went on to college to play basketball.
Oh, wow.
And I actually played at the college in my town, and that's a small school, so that's like 2,000 students.
Oh, wow.
But that was a really good opportunity for me. And then I went to school majoring in pre-med, biology. And um, went on to medical school in downstate Michigan at Michigan State University. And after 1 year of medical school, was diagnosed with cancer. Also, after my first year of medical school, and 2 months after getting married to my husband.
Oh, wow.
That's when I was diagnosed. But
Mm,
yeah, so it
it's
it was
crazy.
it was crazy. But I mean, I guess as a medical student, I was fortunate to take my health seriously and
Sure.
uh, get it checked out as soon as I
Yeah.
had some more severe symptoms. And yeah,
Yeah. So
that's
I
that.
remember when Courtney found you. So this is because I actually, so I even said this today. So don't take it like, by the way, I don't know. My humor's a little, maybe a little dark for the cancer thing.
Oh,
But
mine is too. It has to
okay,
be.
okay, good. Okay. So I was like, I maybe should preface it that before I say anything. But Courtney would always talk about a few different people she found. There was, very few, but you being one of them. And your story, I don't know it completely, but I do know, like, she always tell me about how you found out like something was off with you medically. And like even today I said, she's the pass out girl, right? Like, right. And that's the one, right? And she's,
I think so, right? Yeah.
That's me.
Yes. I would love to actually hear that story from you, like of how you found out something was off.
Yeah, well, it's actually funny that you say pass out girl because like even growing up with like running and like basketball, I've always been like a pass out girl. Like
Oh no. Okay.
Okay.
I'd also always just like, push it a little too hard. But which is kind of funny that or I guess lucky of me to even go to the doctor or like call my provider when I did pass out because I was like brushed it off. I was like, I
Right.
could
I didn't
always
think about
pass
that.
out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it was my first day of my second year of medical school, and I was in the cardiac ICU, and I was just like shadowing a nurse at that point just to kind of like figure out the unit and stuff like that. And we were in a patient's room, and the patient was just talking, and the nurse was getting her vitals and, just saying, "How are you doing?" Whatever. And I was just standing there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to pass out." And I
Oh, man.
felt super unprofessional because there was a couch in the patient's room, and I was like, "I'm so sorry, I need to sit down on your couch." And
Oh,
they're like,
man.
"Okay." And I sat down, and then I woke up on the floor because I passed
Oh
out,
no.
and I threw up too. So that was just like
Goodness.
obviously
Oh,
embarrassing.
Yeah.
man.
And
Thank
the
goodness you
nurse,
sat
I
on
didn't
the
know you
couch
got sick.
though.
I didn't know that really
yeah,
sucks.
yeah, no concussion, so that's
Oh,
nice.
God.
But I woke up to nurses just surrounding me, and they were like giving me Gatorade and like crackers, and they were like, "We should wheel you to the ER." And I was like, "Please don't. I have classmates in the ER."
I didn't
I
think
didn't
about
think of that
that.
either. Oh, pass out
but
girls here.
yes.
Yeah.
And then I got home, and I called my sister because she's a nursing student, and we were both laughing about it because she was like, "That's so embarrassing. Like, do not tell any of your classmates that." And I was like, "I'm not going to." And then I was like, "Isn't that kind of weird though? Like, nothing was happening. Like, nothing provoked it. There's no blood. There's no
Sure.
vomit."
Mm-hmm.
And so it just like felt off to me. And I called my provider, my nurse practitioner where I'm from in the Sioux, uh, and because I had a pretty good relationship with her, and my dad is also the president of the hospital where I'm from. So I just was fortunate to, have access like that to
Sure.
providers. But I asked her to order me some labs and, just a workup. and I got my labs done, and I opened them on my chart, and when I opened them, everything was just so bad. Like my white count was critically low, my red blood
What was it at?
cells.
Do you remember? Like your white count?
Well, hers was
I
low.
Oh,
I
it was low.
Yeah. Yeah, which is interesting because a lot of
So
people's
weird. Mine were
white
high.
counts are high. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
mine was low. So mine was like 0.17, I think.
Wow. Mine
So
were way different.
yeah, it was like critically low, and my hemoglobin was low, my red cells were low, my platelets were low,
Yeah, I'm
and
sure.
I immediately like in like all the other labs that they do that like you don't really most
Sure.
usually you're like, what does this even mean?
Yeah.
I was in a point being a medical student where I could actually kind of interpret them. Um, and I was just like, I have cancer.
Oh,
And
no. No, I mean, it's not funny, but like the fact that
yeah.
you wreck it, because I had no idea. Like, I'm
Hmm.
calling the doctors kind of stupid. You know, like these idiots,
Yeah.
these redneck Mississippi doctors, they don't know. It's so like, I think I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but like, it's just a
No, it's
complete
okay.
opposite journey from us.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, like, I just had that feeling because like I was like, I know my own body too,
Sure.
but like I had the lab sent to like other doctors who like are family friends with my dad, and they were like, yeah, that's not good, but like I wouldn't worry about it. She probably maybe she got a virus from coming back from her honeymoon, which is causing her
Sure.
counts to be low, or maybe she's deficient in some like vitamins or whatever because she's not taking care of herself because she's a medical student or like stuff like
Right.
that. And I even went to a hematologist before my first bone marrow biopsy, and he said the same thing. He said,
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
he said you're so young and it's so unlikely that
Hmm.
let's get labs again in 2 weeks, and I bet they'll
Oh
come
my
back
gosh.
up. And they didn't. And then after they didn't, he was like, oh, we got to do a bone marrow biopsy.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah. And
So
then
you
I,
actually had some time between you passing out and
Like,
then
how long was that? Was that like 2-3 weeks? Probably. Is that what I'm?
no, it was, um, I would say it was about 5 weeks.
Oh my gosh, Kenzie, that's crazy.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
How were you feeling right during that time?
It's crazy because, like, I felt fine. Like the only thing that I noticed that was different was when I was working out and like running, it just got really
Yep.
hard for me.
Yep.
Like cause I've
Really
always been a
hard.
runner. Yeah, I've always been a runner, and so like I would set out to do like a 3 mile run, and then I would get to a mile and I'd just be like dogging it, and so I
Yeah.
would be like, I have to walk back, and then
Yep.
I was like the inner athlete in me. I was like, get it
Yep.
together, girl.
Yes, that's so funny.
you
Because
know?
I had a similar like that's great. Sorry, I'm not. I know I keep interrupting you, but like I don't get to talk. I don't get to talk to a lot of AML patients, so this is cool for me.
Yeah, go
But
ahead.
that's so cool. Like, because I have a very vivid memory of. I don't run, but I do I like to weightlift like your husband. And
Hmm.
despite my small frame, unlike your gigantic husband, by the way, he is jacked.
Yeah, he's like
But
6'7", right?
he's
Like
six
he's like
eight, I think. I keep up
He's
with him pretty
6'8". Yeah, he
okay.
he loves lifting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a memory of like being on the bench press and having a weight on there that I was super comfortable with, but like barely being able to get a couple reps on it. And I was like, kind of the same thing. Like, dang, dude, like we had just gotten back from vacation.
Mhm.
Speaking
Hmm.
of Canada, we went to Alaska, which it's obviously not super close, but
Wait, it is.
I
It's
feel like we're
attached.
kind of,
Yeah,
we've
it's
been there.
attached.
But yeah, so like I had just gotten off a trip and I'm like, man, you really let yourself go. Like you need to, get
Yeah.
it together. And so,
Get
yeah,
it together.
that's crazy. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's wild. I feel like the couple of people I have spoken with, it just seems like there's a lot of similarities. And especially
Yeah.
since you were like healthy, kind of freaks me out.
Right.
Like, because I was again, nothing like your husband, but I did have this similar lifestyle. Like I lived 5-6 days a week.
Yeah.
I ate, super clean. I counted my macros. I was really into it. And just feels surreal sometimes.
It's like, you just definitely don't expect it happening to you when you're actively thinking you're taking good care of yourself. And
right.
Like,
yeah. And
what the hell?
That's like, we have those moments like, and
well, he made a comment probably like a week after he kind of started telling everyone that he was diagnosed, and he works with a bunch of like older people. He's the youngest one there, and he had made a comment. He's like, well, I guess I should have ate that fried chicken, guys.
Yeah, I would skip out on everything. Like they would around here. I don't know if you have it. Like Jack Purtle's is kind of a joke. It's a really like Southern greasy.
I've never even had it. So
yeah, I think I've had it once. It's gross, but like I would always like skip, and I'm like, man, like all those donuts I didn't eat, and I'm the one with cancer here. Y'all
come on.
Man, that's funny you said it. Like it's just like it's hard to. Your husband probably can relate, but it's just hard to really convey that to people. Like just cancer in general, like the struggle of accepting this is not a bad dream that you're like. I've told the story like a lot. I think that I've had bad dreams before. Like everybody's had. My wife cheated on me or something crazy like that. Like, and it
was a dream,
but it felt so real. Like. And I woke up and I'm like, and then, you feel around and you're like, your wife's still here. Oh my God, it was a dream. And then,
too, yep.
But I feel like I just can't wake up from this. Like, I'm still like, reaching around like, what? No, like, because I used to say this a lot. It can't get me. It gives a joke. Like I'm kind of probably should never have said it hindsight, but I always say, the guys at work would be like, you need to be careful of this, and this, because, it causes cancer or whatever. I'm like, cancer can't get me, and I shouldn't, it's,
exactly.
I hate to admit it.
I was the same way.
I'm like, no, I work out. I exercise. Like I take medicine for my body. Like I take vitamins and, I do marathons and triathlons and this is cool. It's not cool. This is all uncool, but it is.
It's nice to have someone you can connect with and can relate to you on that level.
Totally agree.
Definitely.
Yeah. I remember when I was first diagnosed, and this is like, most people don't relate to this because I feel like a lot of people, when they are diagnosed, they're like, you're getting admitted right away to the hospital and starting chemo right away.
Yep.
But I got my results from my biopsy, and how I actually found out was my dad drove down 5 hours to where I was living and knocked on my door and told me that I had cancer. And in hindsight, that's probably a better way to find out than a doctor telling you.
No doubt.
But the doctor basically was like, how are you feeling? Like, do you have fevers? Do you have chills? Do you have any symptoms? And at that point I was like, no, I feel fine.
That's wild.
So he was like, well, because this was a Thursday, he was like, why don't we plan for you to get admitted on Monday and start chemo? And I was like, okay. So I had like 5 days to just chill in my apartment, and my family all came. And every day I woke up and I was like, oh, nope, not a dream. Like, I have cancer. Like, it was just, I
such
totally
a wild perspective.
Saying. Yeah.
That is a wild perspective, like, because my story is way different.
Yeah.
Like, and my story, I don't want to go deep into it, but like,
you had flu-like symptoms.
Sick.
Yeah, he was dying.
I was dying. We say that, like, and it's so, okay, I need a better word than cool, but like, I have never, I've texted a lot. Like, I have, thank God, a lot of, I say a lot, maybe 4 people I've met with AML that, we text, and it's just different. And, but you're the first person I've audibly spoken with, so for me, it is kind of neat. But like, when I look back, like, it's like a week after, not even that, maybe a few days after finding out I had cancer and then starting treatment, I was like, bad, you know,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
probably couldn't have waited like you. I know I couldn't have. Like if I would have
Yeah.
waited like you did, I probably would not have made it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard for people to understand that.
What were your, I mean, when your first biopsy, what was your blast percentage at?
Oh, I think it was 89%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It was high. I was really high.
Mine was 25%. So I
What the
think I
heck? That's
just
so,
caught it early.
Mm-hmm.
that's wild though. Like just,
How different it
well,
can be too.
and we'll get into like, oh, cause I want to talk
Mhm.
more about like further in your journey, but like it is interesting and it's not interesting at this. We can say this because we're living it, but like
Mhm.
your path so far is quite different from mine currently.
Yeah.
You know, where we're at right now today, and I'd like to get into it, but it is just, you would think that your story starting out would be like mine, right?
Mhm.
And then mine
Yeah.
would be like yours. And that just shows, I hope people gather this because I really try to hit home with people that AML is so, it's really tough. Like,
It's
and it's so
awful.
complicated. Like it's so, when I try to explain, like people are like, oh, you're getting your stem cell transplant, you'll be good, right? I'm like, man, like I'm not offended by that statement, but like I'm a little offended by that statement. Like, you know, you try not to be, but they don't understand how complex it really is. And
Right.
that just because you had a friend beat it and do this, that doesn't mean it's just so far from what I'm going through and what you're going through. And it's just,
And after that step, the fight's not over too. You're still
right.
Right.
It's a
still in it.
lifelong, you know, and if people were to read the first 2 chapters of your book, right, and then read the first 2 chapters of my book, they would think one thing about both of our stories, but really,
Yeah.
and I don't want to say they flipped, but you know, um, I do get along probably a little bit better than you do right now, from cancer
Yeah, for
patient to
sure.
cancer patient, you know, and so like I do get a lot of the statements like, "Well, you look good," you know, like,
and I'm sure you
Yeah.
still do.
yeah, and you look great, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't
you
want to
got
put
on
that
the
up there.
Yeah.
He turned the iPad around.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, she's
She looks
beautiful.
great. Yeah, you really. I like the
Thank
hair.
you.
I love the hair. I think it's super cool. You
Thanks.
sport it.
Cool.
Although I'm a
Pixie
little
cut.
partial to the hat things, you know, like I think those are cool. Like I kind of want to get a couple.
I tried to
You
convince
should.
Colton. I tried to convince Colton to let his grow out until the chemo before transplant, and
Yeah.
I was like, then we can like bleach it and dye it. he
That's
was
just
like,
not-
no.
I don't know
Oh,
if you
no.
guys. I ended up when I found out I needed a second transplant and my hair was like this long. I dyed my hair pink because I was
I
like,
didn't
saw
see
it.
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
I gotta go
stalked
find
you.
that.
I saw it.
She did say so. Maybe I'll have to give it. Well, we're a little late now, but I'll have to give it a try. Well, look, while we're
Yeah.
at this, I got too pumped up, I think, and I don't want to interrupt it because the conversation is great, but I have to do the would you rather. It is my favorite part, and so this is like something we do with.
And Kenzie's taking over this part, right?
Yes,
Okay.
she's got a few, and Courtney's like, that is so. She's like, we should be asking her the would you rather
Yeah,
question.
I felt bad. I was like, we're putting her
We're
to
putting
work.
her to work. She's treating.
You know what? I had fun thinking about it.
Yeah,
Okay,
good. Okay,
good.
so would you rather? All right, cool. So I am ready. I love these. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is a would you rather AML edition.
Okay.
Okay, that's awesome.
Would you rather have a completely unmedicated bone marrow biopsy
Ooh.
or stay in the hospital for a week with neutropenic fevers?
Ooh.
Oh, no.
That's really good. And everybody's gonna be like, oh, that's stupid. Well, first of all, biopsies are absolutely terrible.
They suck.
They're bad. Like someone's like, oh, it hurt. And I'm like, man, I don't even know how to explain it to you. Like it's so bad. But I'm a pretty like, I think my wife can attest to it. I'm kind of like pretty mentally strong person, I guess. Like, you know, but man, the hospital really brings me down. Like
Me too.
I thought I was good for a minute, like in my little induction round, and I was struggling. Like I'm going a little crazy. They wouldn't let me leave the room, you know, and I still think maybe I don't have cancer, possibly. so I'm gonna have, man, the biopsy thing. I don't know what your experience has been like, but I'm pretty sure my first doctor, local oncologist, I mean, I really didn't get any medication. So
You didn't.
I
I've
was
been
the same
there.
way.
Okay. He basically hand cranked me and and then when I got to Vanderbilt it's way better. But yeah, so I'm going to go biopsy because I can do it. I've done it. But that is tough. Like that's final answer for me. The biopsy for sure. But like, let me tell you, neither one of these are great.
Yeah,
What would you do? What is your answer?
I would for sure do the biopsy because, like,
Okay.
yeah, it really sucks, but it takes like what, less than 20 minutes. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm willing to fight through that pain, but I agree with you. I
Ugh,
loathe being in the hospital, loathe
bad.
it. So, I'm
So
with you on that
did you
one.
do treatment locally first? Like, or did you immediately go to?
Yeah, so I mean, I got my first biopsy where I was from just because we thought it was going to be easier to like get in because of um
Sure.
just, you know,
Like logistics and stuff.
being local.
Yeah.
And cuz where I was living in Grand Rapids, Michigan, it's downstate Michigan. It's like one of the bigger cities in Michigan.
Sure.
So I got my biopsy where I was from, but I got admitted and got treatment in Grand Rapids because it was a better hospital and it was more
Okay.
convenient for me and my husband.
So because where we're at, there's nowhere for me to go in and get blood and platelets and then come right back. Like I have to go admit and be
Oh
there for
gosh.
several. Yeah. So that's like really like I have PTSD. I think like if I had to say I've never had PTSD, I can't. I'm self-diagnosed, but like, oh my God, I had any time I needed blood and platelets was 5 days in the hospital. Like,
Oh my gosh.
it's
It was
terrible.
terrible.
Mississippi, get your life together. It is so bad, and it's like I didn't even know honestly until I started seeing your social media that people could go in and out in a day, or
Yeah.
that's
Well,
crazy.
I mean, that your experience actually makes me feel better about mine because when I was in Grand Rapids, I had it really nice. They would just like get your labs and then they'd be like, "Oh, you need platelets. We'll schedule an appointment for you." And get there right on time, get my platelets, get out, and it'd take less than an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And
But none of
it
it's
was
fun.
nice.
So
No, 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 no.
None of
But
it's fun.
yeah.
But
but it
that's a
would be like
luxury.
check in. We'd like check in 24 hours later. You might get a bag of something, and then they wouldn't check your labs for like 12 hours. Then they'd be like, "Oh, you still need more, and we're just going to keep you." And it would be like, about a week. Usually, it seemed, and it was just like they just don't know how to care for
Crazy.
cancer patients around here that well. Olive Branch is small, but it's not your town small. I mean, it's large enough. We're right near Memphis, so even in Memphis, if I was to go get treated, which I did mostly, it's bad. But man, that's
crazy.
it is crazy. Like,
Especially like, because for my situation right now, like with the treatment I'm getting, I need like platelets twice a week, red blood cells once a week. So like I can't like imagine not being able to go home after that just
oh my
to
gosh,
need blood, or you know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's even crazier, like that they do that because blood makes such a difference in how you feel.
yes, it
Like
does. Oh my
it's
god,
crazy. Like I remember there was one time I got blood in the morning. My dad was going with me to my appointment to get my red blood cells, and on my way up to my appointment, I was like barely able to walk, and he was like, "Do you need
yep,
a wheelchair? Do you need me to carry you? Like, are you good?"
yep.
And then when I was leaving, I was like,
Mhm.
"Get the interview out," and he was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, "Wow, this morning I wanted to carry you, and now I can't even keep up with you." And I'm like,
That's
"I need
crazy. Like
blood."
my
Yeah.
sons have helped me. Like I have a 15-year-old son and a 14-year-old son, and like they a couple times went up to the hospital, and I would be like, kind of goofing around with them, but like I'm doing it because like I kind of need to, but I don't want to like raise any alarms here. But I'm like, like
Yeah.
going up there, and I'm like, yeah. So it's and like platelets for me are the devil. Like they hate me. I have to get
Really?
I have to get like all the meds, like
Wow.
Benadryl, steroids. there's Tylenol. There's a few things. Like if I don't get it, it's gonna be a wild ride for everybody. Like I went into anaphylactic shock. Yeah. It was crazy. I almost died, basically. I mean, I know it sounds like
they were like, "You'll be fine. Here's a little Benadryl," and then they left him for a minute, and I was like,
I told him, I was like,
terrifying.
Look, you need to do, like, we had a few reactions, small, but like because we caught it really quick. Like, well, it's not. My throat closed up, but not completely. Thank God. I know it's terrible.
Gosh.
Thank God they like caught it. That we had a great nurse. Shout out Miss Caroline, but you know, she gave me some steroids, and so it stopped. So, but like from then on, I knew like, hey, I need XYZ, or we're both going to have a really rough experience here. And I would tell them, but you know, our area, again, not knowing how to treat cancer patients all that well, they just didn't believe me. Like sometimes, and I'm like, all right, you know, I got fed up sometimes. I'm like, you know, here we go. And one time we had a great nurse, but the nurse before gave me the meds. But wait, you have to do it like within 30 minutes. Give me the meds, 30 minutes later, give me the platelets. And it was like 6 hours later, they gave me my platelets. And I was like, this is my first time. I didn't know, but I was like, you know, whatever. Y'all are nurses. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job. And sure enough, I'm laying there. I'm like, I'm going to go to sleep while you do this. She's like, okay. She had like 2 bags of platelets. And I was like laying there, and I'm like, I love to sleep with earplugs. So, you know, I can hear my heart rate pretty well. I'm laying there, and I heard, I'm like, oh my God. I look over, and my heart rate's 135, like laying down. And she's like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm really bad about like just trying to tough it out for a quick second. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, you know? And then I was like, nope, not good. I'm about to pass out.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, Courtney wasn't there. I was like, I'm about to throw up. I started taking my clothes off. Like I'm sweating. Like, I don't know. I got a sweating problem. But like, I'm like, she's like, I'll be right back. And like, I was like, oh my, hold on. Don't leave. Like you're leaving, you know, like, and so like, I've never, ever clicked the button, you know, where you call somebody. I'm going to wait till you come see me, and I'll tell you what. I'm over here, you know, I'm like, I feel myself kind of like going down, and then she comes in, and I was like, bring me the trash can. I'm like, blah. They almost gave me the EpiPen. It was terrible. And so like from then on, I've been like,
very nervous.
Please don't give me playlists.
I hate
anyway, I hate them. You know, I'm like, I'll wait.
He's very nervous.
It's terrible. But you got another question for me?
No, I mean, I just think it's interesting because I haven't heard anyone having, you know, a transfusion reaction. And for me, I don't need any pre-meds for blood or platelets in it. It just doesn't affect me at all.
That's cool.
So,
that's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's nice. So that's scary that you have to deal with that, especially because, you know, with getting chemo actively, and then when you get to transplant, you're probably going to need them. So that's
I told them, I was like, look, do you know what I need? They're like, yes, we're very aware of your situation. I was like, okay. I was
as
like,
long as they know.
Yes, please. Like, have you ever had Benadryl in the syringe?
Oh,
you would know. It's a wild ride.
I don't think so. I think I've just had oral, and Benadryl just knocks me out.
Oh yeah, no.
He says through the IV, it's wild.
I've never been higher in my. I never smoked weed or anything like that, you know. So I don't know what that's like. But I'm gonna tell you, I am like immediately wasted. I'm like, they give it to me, and I'm like, oh, like what?
My God.
Like the first time they gave it to me, I was like, hey man, I don't feel well. You know, they're like, well, what do you mean? I was like, I'm really like, I'm kind of high, I think. And like, oh, it's just the Benadryl, you know?
They did. They were like, yeah, people love that stuff.
I was like, dude, I could get hooked on this. No, but I guess it's yeah. Well, that was a great would you rather question.
Did you have another one, or was that the only one? It's okay if that's the only one.
I had another one. It's
yeah, go ahead.
I found this one on TikTok. I thought it was cool. Would you rather be able to record everything you hear or record everything you see?
Ooh.
Man.
Mine would be C.
Would it?
Yes, I already know.
Because Courtney already records everything she hears.
But I already have ear problems, so I swear. Mine's going to be C.
Courtney remembers everything that's talked about. But no, for me, I think I have a really hard time And it's funny you asked this question because, like, I was going to say, like, sometimes I have a hard time saying, like, my experiences because I just can't put it into words sometimes. So I think everything I see, so I could be like, no, look, this is what I'm talking about, you know, like, so yeah, for
Right.
me, I got to do everything I see. I think my memory's pretty good. It's not Courtney good, but it is pretty good.
It's not stalker good.
It's not
What would you do?
stalker good. I think I'd probably do C too. Just, yeah, kind of like you
Yeah.
said, to be able to
Yeah.
like, it'd be cool to like be able to show people like
Right.
you know, your experiences,
Especially
especially
now.
yeah.
Those are good ones.
Especially
You
now.
did a good job.
Man,
Thank
it's
you.
just
Those are
so,
really good.
that was a great job. Courtney's like, I'm glad you said you found some on TikTok because she's like, I'm just having a hard time finding
I
some of
scour
these.
the internet and I'm like, these all suck. I'm gonna look like a loser.
Yeah, man, this is great. I'm really enjoy. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. I just don't get to. It's hard to. I have a lot of friends. I say I have a lot of friends. I'm so cool. No, but like I
So
do.
popular.
I feel like I'm super popular now. You know, I always make the joke. Everybody wants to be friends with a cancer patient. You know,
Yeah.
but I have to re-explain a lot of things. And even when I do, I can just tell that it just doesn't really resonate. Even with Courtney, to
Yeah,
be
for
honest, like
sure.
some of the things Courtney knows probably the most about my journey. But even like, you know, to say like, how does it feel to go through chemotherapy, or how does it feel to, you know, just be sick in general, or like, I always tell people like, I look good, but I don't think I've been 100% in a really, really long time. Like, I don't even know what that feels like.
Well, like even
For
your would
sure.
you rather question.
Yeah.
Like the biopsy, I was
Yes.
for sure like, I'm in the hospital.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna lay
no,
down.
yeah, no, man. 'Cause-
And you both said biopsy.
You're like biopsy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bad, but it's temporary.
Exactly. And you know, I agree with you. It is nice talking to you because I mean, I like you have a great support system and you know, a great husband and amazing friends. A lot of friends like you. I'm
Yeah,
super
yeah,
popular.
yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
But you know, you don't truly get it unless you're, I guess, going through it and
Yep.
Yeah.
like it's hard to and it's hard to explain it to your friends and family because like what you're going through is hard and you almost don't want to explain it to them because you
Yep.
kind of want to protect their heart. And at
Yes.
least
It's
yeah,
crazy.
so it you know it's nice to be able to relate to someone and just to be able to fully say like
Yep.
this sucks and like
It does.
man
Yeah.
that stupid
Yeah.
biopsy.
Yeah. Okay, that's funny you say protect their hearts because I keep saying today, but I guess just prepping for our conversation, I just thought about like having to repeat, like you're saying things to people, and like, it almost make you kind of. It's a sad thing to say, but it's true. Like people, when I'm talking to them about it, I can see it hurting them a little bit,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
And so you're like, do I really want to? Does it matter? Like if I really tell you the depth of like what we're saying, or like how do you
Right.
feel? Well, you know, that's how I feel. Like I want to say
Yeah.
that, you know, but it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm okay today. You know, for me,
Mhm.
so it is like interesting you said that because for me, I see that,
Mhm.
you know, and you just
Mhm.
don't want to hurt their feelings, or you don't feel the
You
need.
can't hide from me though.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Courtney, she knows, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm fine. But you know, you do kind of
Yeah.
protect people a little bit, you know, from does the biopsy hurt? Well, yeah, it hurts, but you know, I can't really convey that to you, you know,
Exactly.
how it hurts, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mhm.
And some of the details, like, you know, if they just don't understand. So it's just best to be like, oh, we'll keep it as simple as we can.
Yes.
But
Right.
so we know you were diagnosed with AML. So obviously we know, but not everyone understands that there are different, you know, mutations and forms of leukemia.
Mhm.
So would you mind sharing yours? Is that okay?
Yeah. So when I was first diagnosed, they did the gene mutation panel, which I'm sure they do for you and for everyone.
Yeah.
And I had two mutations that were like notable to my doctors. The first one was RUNX1, which was my high risk mutation for it relapsing, and that's why I needed a stem cell transplant. But it was also, they said, like very rare. Like there was not a lot of research on it, which is unfortunate because I know for a lot of the high risk mutations, you can have like targeted medication going into transplant, which gives you a better outcome. So that was one of them. And then the other one I had is called TET2. And I think that's like a moderate risk, but I've accumulated more mutations.
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't either, but I look at
My
my
goodness.
results from my biopsies now, and I think there's like consistently like 5 of them.
Goodness.
And I don't even want to ask my doctor what the other
Sure.
ones mean, because I'm at this point it's like I'm just gonna protect my peace.
No,
Yeah.
I understand that. Is it like, because like I know they had, for me, so mine is in version 16, but like there were some other ones, and this may be an interesting question to ask, and they may have already said it to you. You're at a great hospital, but like the driving factor is in version 16 for me. So like, I think I had some other.
Yeah. The FLT mutation came up in his
I think it was the
first biopsy, but then I think after induction, they said they never saw it again.
But they also mentioned that it wasn't enough in there. Super complicated, but my understanding is like it was in there, but it was just, and who knows how they're testing it, but my understanding is it's not the driving factor. AML in version 16 was. The other ones might like pop up, but it wasn't enough in there to actually, it was very diluted, I guess it would be a good way to put it. Yeah. And so, maybe the ones popping up for you, I'm not a doctor by any means, but maybe it is just part of.
Well, his oncologist in Memphis liked to use analogies a lot, and he said it's just a dummy. Like we don't really. This guy over here doesn't mean much to us.
Yeah,
so,
that's what
like he gave us a whole I'm not gonna go through it, but he gave a whole story behind it, and then gave us that. And we were like, okay.
Right. Like so don't focus on that.
Right.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think like even when I went to my Vanderbilt and started talking about stem cell, and they were kind of, look, once you get low enough, these aren't that important. And obviously, like you said, getting rid of it is
the idea is to empty you out. Like that's what the chemo does prior to empty you out. So we're like, okay, that makes sense. So
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, go. I was going to just say, like, that was a confusing thing for me was, like, because, you have to be in remission to get a stem cell transplant. And so I, like, thinking, like, originally I was like, well, if I'm in remission, like, and they also did test to see if it was, like, a spontaneous mutation versus, like, it's in all of my cells that, like, because that would make it more likely to come back regardless. And so it came back that it was just like a spontaneous mutation. And then, so I was like, well, if this was just like a fluke and I'm in remission, like, why do I need a stem cell transplant? Like, it shouldn't come back, right? Like, if you're not seeing it anymore and it's not in my cells. And they're like, no, like leukemia is hard to tell because like a bone marrow biopsy can only show you like it's like a snapshot. And so I was like, oh, okay, because my doctor used an analogy and he said it could be 0 blasts or 0 leukemia in your bone marrow, but you could have 1 leukemia cell floating around in like your toe or something.
Right. Yeah.
And
that makes. I didn't think about it like that though. Like location. I didn't think about location ever.
Yeah, that was confusing for me. But go ahead with your question, Courtney.
Oh, no. Well, I was just as far as like, well, that's what I was getting into, like your stem cell transplant. Like, what was that original journey for you like as far as your first experience with it and the chemo and things like that? Because that is something we're interested about because you're about to experience that.
Yeah.
And you have spoken to some people, but it seems like it varies a lot, just
Yeah.
like the disease
Did you
itself.
go straight into like, for I'm make sure I understand. Did you go through like induction and then consolidation, or did you like, and then stem cell? Like, or were you always going to get a stem cell transplant? Like, was that right off the get? Like, you're getting one,
Yeah.
just okay.
Yeah, just based off my mutation, they basically were like, they were like, leukemia isn't like tumors where it's like stage 1 or 2 or 3 or
Sure.
4. They were
Right.
said it's low risk, moderate risk, high risk of just coming back without a stem cell transplant.
Right.
And so when I got my gene mutations back, they were like, it's high risk, bone marrow transplant for sure. So I knew that
Okay.
within the first 2 weeks of being diagnosed, but I had to wait like 4 months until I actually got my transplant.
Okay. Wow.
So I've
yeah.
got like the consolidation chemo and all that
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah. So it's hard to explain to people when I'm like, well, I feel blessed enough, and my wife's like, I feel like we can talk about like where we're at to each other, but and I am sensitive to the fact that I don't want you to think I am, of like where you're at, and I don't understand completely, but I think if somebody had to understand, I think I do. And so I am MRD negative, meaning I don't have, any showing currently. It might be in my toe, but yes, it is cool, but it is hard for me to. It was in the beginning hard for me to understand, like, well, I mean, because my relapse was again, my story is much different. Everybody's like, you're so healthy, you're young, you're going to be cured by chemo. At first they wouldn't say that, but like, that's kind of like what they told me.
Because it was weird. So his oncologist was like covered under insurance, but the hospital he stayed at couldn't cover him at the hospital he typically made rounds at. So his colleagues would come in and make rounds. And it was just one after the other. They were like, oh, you're going to be fine. You're going to be great. It's going to pass. Like, don't worry. You're not going to have to do that. So it did catch us off guard.
Yeah. So like, I never, like, part of the reason it's taken me so long to get it, partially I just didn't have a good match. But the other part was like, I just didn't think I was going to have to do it. So like in my mind, I'm like, when they called us, I was just like devastated all over again, really, because I'm thinking I'm getting my life back in, T minus, a month or two or whatever.
Right.
And so like my relapse was molecular. Like it was very small. Like my jump up was like I think one biopsy came back 0.00036 or something like that. And then my next one was like 0.001. So it was just small, but it didn't matter. It was just like, so it's hard for me to like explain that to people. Like, they're like, well, you got it gone now. But I'm like, since I, had any sort of relapse, it doesn't matter really anymore.
Yeah, that's how my relapse was too. It started off just molecularly. It was crazy because my biopsy, I remember getting my biopsy and you get like your preliminary results before the MRD.
Sure. Yeah.
And that showed no evidence of leukemia.
Right.
And
yeah, we were pumped. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was funny because that biopsy, like I was always anxious for results after biopsies, but that one I was like, I'm 6 months out of transplant. I'm doing great. Like, this ain't coming back. And then I just randomly got a call and it was my nurse practitioner and she was like, hey, your MRD results came back and you relapsed. It's really small. It was 0.002%.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh gosh. And she was like, yep, you probably need a second transplant. And I was like, no. Yeah.
I didn't realize. So I guess that'd be something good to tell me. So you had your transplant and you could tell, I'd like to know a little bit about your experience there, but just because you touched on it, so you were 6 months out of transplant when you hit all your 100 days, you hit all your, that's crazy. I didn't know that. So you had all
I know that. I mean, obviously it sucks, but I know
that is
that
way more
getting that
devastating.
news is just
like that.
Yeah.
To me, like if you're going to relapse, like, which obviously I guess you don't relapse within that 100 days because you're super vulnerable, but like, 6 months, I mean, that, you're
Yeah,
back on track, like,
right. Like I had ran a 5K at that point. Like I was
uh,
like just ready to start
yeah,
studying for school again and all that stuff. But because my doctor, my understanding was after a year after transplant is like your risk of relapsing is significantly reduced.
that was my
But
understanding as well.
yeah, but I've even like I've had comments on like my TikToks of like I saw one girl who she relapsed like 3.5 years after transplant, and I was like,
Holy
oh my
crap.
gosh, that is
Uh,
devastating.
that's not what you want to see.
Mm-mm,
Mm-mm.
no. So
Yeah,
sorry to
that's
I don't want to
no,
scare
no. But
you.
like we like
Oh, I've watched it all.
we've seen all of it. Like we tell people, I'm like, look, if you want to be like, don't watch anything or read anything online about anything about this disease because it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
especially like we ended up getting on a Facebook page, which I do not recommend. Any Facebook page that is, leukemia related.
I am
Oh
still a part
God.
of them, but I snooze them
Mm-mm.
because it's just not good for your mental health.
It's not good.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I feel like the majority of the people that are on it are people taking care of their older parents.
Yeah, I did notice that.
So it's
Depressing.
pretty devastating.
It
Yeah.
is.
I bet.
Ugh.
I bet.
Like everything, sky is falling,
Mhm.
half empty. I mean, like I told my son this the other day, and I tell everybody this. Like, it doesn't serve me personally, probably not anybody, but I'm just can only speak for myself. But it doesn't serve me to be negative or to look at they're like, well, how are you so this and that? Like, you smile a lot still, and you laugh, and I'm like, I mean, one, I'm like, well, what do you want me to be?
Right.
I don't look like Voldemort. We watch Harry Potter. I don't look like this, little small crumb. Yeah. But like I just don't show you that. Like you said, we protect the kind of a little bit. I don't like, hey, look at me. I feel terrible. But like, it doesn't serve me to be angry or to be constant. Am I sad all the time? Right. I mean, I have cancer, that's easy to be sad, but like
Sucks.
it does. It sucks. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, but I know I can tell you this without a shadow of a doubt. It would not help me personally to constantly stay in that rut of sadness and anger or whatever. So like, yeah, I constantly do smile and try to be positive. Like, I'm 36. I'm a lot older than you, but I've always said I'm gonna live to be 100. Like, that's my thing. Like, I'm gonna live to be 100. Like, that's a long ways from 36 years old. Like, that's a lot of life to live. Like, and my goal is not to live it sick. And so and I'm sure you can relate to that a little bit.
Yeah, I think the only way to get through this is to be positive. Like you just have to, because what are you like? This is your life. Like you're fighting every single day, and to sulk is like that's devastating to you, and that's devastating to your health, because then you're not doing the things that are good for you, like getting up and moving, or seeing people who you love who make you happy. It's just like you got to make the most of it for sure.
I'm just like, for me, it's hard for me to like, I'm ready to, and I hope you can relate to this. I'm so ready. Like, even now, like, okay, say I go golfing, right? Say I went golf, felt great one day, went and played some. Everybody's like, well, that's great. Well, it's not really. It is a getaway, right? Like, they see you go to the beach, for instance, and like, oh, that's great, Kenzie's at the beach. But it's like, don't think for 1 second that there was very few minutes that I was like, I still have treatment, or I still have this coming. Like, I got this bone marrow biopsy, or I'm still got cancer, like the big, and it's just constantly there. Even if it doesn't look like it's there, it's something you constantly, I'm ready to be past. And that's why that 6-month thing kind of, to me, was like, oh, cause like, I'm so ready to be like able to go, this is behind me. Like, it'll always be a part of my life and my journey, but like, I'm not getting a cancer tattoo, like, I'm not, I don't want, like, I don't mind. I'll always talk about it, I think, because I'm really good
Mhm.
about, talking about it. But like, I did have a friend, I didn't even tell my wife this, call me, or I reached out to him. He has a really neat story. I would love to talk to him one day about it. And I just mentioned to him, like, hey, if you ever want to talk, this would be cool. I'd love people to hear your story. And he said, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm nowhere near ready to talk about it. He
Yeah.
said that the trauma, it
Yeah.
was a lot, and it's extensive. And he's like, I'm going through, like, just trying to accept that I did have my transplant, and luckily he's off his meds and he's doing really well right now.
Good.
And I just thought that was like, it didn't occur to me, right? And I got to thinking, yeah, I guess you do tote this with you no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think some people, it's just how you deal with it. Like, I think for me and you, it's probably therapeutic to get it out there and try to help
Yeah.
people. Like, while you're in the storm, you are at least doing your best to make good of it.
Yeah.
But it is heavy, and some people just aren't comfortable with that, which is
Yeah.
okay too. But,
Absolutely. Yeah.
for me at
Yep.
least, it's pretty therapeutic to get out there, share my story, and then, get
Absolutely.
some support and, meet some people from it and be able to relate to others. So, yeah.
Me too. I like talking to people. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, how was your experience?
Yeah.
Or whatever. And that helps me a little bit. Like, did stem cell, I know she asked you, but like, was that rough? Like, what was that?
Well, what was your experience? I'm sure it was rough.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was, I think you were talking about just like wanting to get on the other side of it and like finally move past it. And for me, going into transplant, that's what transplant was for me. It was like, to me, I was like, I'm going to get a transplant and then it's all going to be behind me. Like,
Yeah, that's how I look
that
at
was
it.
my perspective. And obviously that's what everyone hopes for. But for me, I just really, it was difficult. I mean, I don't know if you've had this experience, but how they give you steroids before they give you chemo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, my body reacts horribly to steroids. Like, I turn
Really?
into like a raging monster. Like, I feel like I just
Really?
want to.
I can't even see
Like
that.
emotion, like when you say your body doesn't respond, do you mean like hormonally or like physically or like
Like hormonally, like emotionally. I want to crawl
Really?
out of my skin. Like, it's funny because I've always been. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're so sweet," like, da, 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 da. But
And-
I remember there was one time, me and my dad were eating, and he just brought me my food, and I was eating, and I was looking at him, and he was like, "You look like you want to kill me right now," and I was like,
Well, I do.
I was like, "Dad, I love you, but like, I want to kill everyone right now." So that
Yeah.
was really hard for me because,
Sure.
the first week leading up to transplant, you're getting the ablative chemo, and that itself is just hard on your body. Like, I got
Sure.
sick quite a bit, and had, other symptoms,
Sure.
but the steroids just like I felt so fidgety, and like I just like couldn't rest or sit down, and I just wanted
Yeah.
to like freak out.
I
So
get
that was
that though.
really hard. Yeah, that was really hard for me. And then finally I was like to my doctor, I was like, please get me off these steroids. Like, I was like, I can't do
Right.
it anymore.
Yeah.
And then finally I was done with them, and then I got to transplant day. And that was like an exciting day, but I think you probably been told it's like super like
Anticlimactic.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what everybody
Yeah.
says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
Okay.
you just
We
kind
did
of
that.
sit there and you look at it and you're like, cool, like this is gonna save my life. and
Yeah.
and it takes like 15 minutes to infuse. And
That's what they
then
said. Okay.
yeah, for me, I got like, I think an hour after I had like a reaction to it. So I had fevers, and
Oh wow.
I like got really cold and was like shivering, but they're like, I was freezing, but I had a fever, so they were like putting ice around my
For
neck, and I
sure.
was like, that sucks. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then after that, I think like 5 days after I got the mouth sores, which I had never had before.
I've never had them. Right? I don't think.
You had
blood blisters. I've had those.
Yeah.
But they don't really hurt.
I think he had like one blister in the very beginning, but usually if we stay on top of it quickly, it's good.
Yeah.
But go on. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. But they talk about how, like, I don't know what your regimen is for your chemo getting before your transplant, because I know it varies from person to person, but I got, one of mine was methotrexate, and basically they said, like, it's inevitable, you're gonna get mouth sores, like, no matter how hard you try to avoid it, like doing the mouthwash and brushing your teeth and all that stuff. And I got them in my throat, so like swallowing was super painful. And for like a week straight, I was on like a morphine drip where I was pressing the button every 10 minutes. So
you got the good stuff.
Got the good stuff. Yeah. And that sucked, but like it wasn't the worst thing in the world. It was bearable. And then after that, I think it was on day 14, my stem cells engrafted and my counts like went up super fast, which was really cool to see, because
14, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah. And then I think it was day 10, and then I got discharged on day 15.
Dang. Okay, cool. That's wild.
I definitely did everything I could to just take really good care of myself in there, and like,
good for you. Yeah.
So my advice to you is drink tons of water to flush out the chemo. Walk every day. So I walked a mile every day around my unit.
Good for you. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Even when
it's hard. Yeah.
It's hard, and some days you really don't feel like it, but it helps, because I know a lot of people who, like, I've seen a lot of people come out of transplant like barely able to walk, with a walker, because it's just so demanding on your body. But I stayed pretty strong through that. And then I also recommend, I brought my own like smoothie, like blender to make smoothies. So like I had like high protein
helpful, I'm sure.
drinks, and it was so
I didn't think about that. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a good idea.
I would recommend that. And then another thing I heard was, which I didn't hear before, is when you're getting your chemo, to chew on ice cubes like during the chemo infusion, and then an hour after, because I had a nurse tell me that prevents mouth sores. So
I'm not afraid. I'll get some ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true, but it's definitely worth a shot, because those mouth sores are like the worst part, I'd say.
That's what I keep hearing. Like, everybody's kind of said
the throat.
Mucositis, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
mucositis?
And they did tell you, I'm pretty sure that you may be getting one of those, because there were several different, chemos, I think.
Yes. We had such a traumatic day, so I don't remember.
And then,
terrible.
Then I do remember them saying if it got too bad, they would give him a drip.
Well, I'm gonna get that drip. They're gonna give me something. I've never had like any pain medicine, like, at all. Like, I never get sick. I never had any. So like, it really does. Like, so when I find something that, like, I say find something, when they give me something that does anything to me, because like I think I have a bit of a high tolerance. We did find that out.
Yeah, they did like I don't know if they
did
this
that on you?
To you,
like a panel of like how your body metabolizes things, like drugs and.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know that I was supposed to read it, but I did.
Yeah, it was like part of the testing they did.
I used to always say, like,
transplant. I don't know.
Courtney, I just took I never had pain medicine, but I just took 5 milligrams of oxycodone. I feel like I should feel something. And she's like, yeah, you should. But I didn't really, And so like, anyway, I metabolized that. I can't remember the name of the drug. Slowly. And so, yeah, but anyway, so when I take something in, I'm like, oh, okay, hold on, wait. Whatever you just gave me really worked. Like, so I feel like such a wuss. So I feel like morphine might put me down. Like, I'm so scared of those things because I've never had it. And I had a surgery one time and Courtney gave me somebody. I'm a dummy. This is going to be good for you medically speaking. So they're like, you can take 5 milligrams every so many hours. That's how long it would last, because I was in pain from the surgery. So I was like, I'll take 10 and I'll be good for the day. Like that was
and
like,
he had never had
that's
anything.
how I never, and that's how I mathed it. So I was like, I'm going to take 10 and I'm good all day long. And I took 10, no food right in the morning. Oh my God. Listen, it about killed me.
And this was pre-cancer.
Pre-cancer.
But
Yeah, this is all pre-cancer.
he couldn't walk. So he was like, let's go do this,
Target.
this and that. Yeah. And then he got there and he couldn't walk anymore because he was
like,
just
what's wrong with me, man? Like I went from high. I went from like really high to
but he
like,
had
oh my God.
The buggies, that, what are they? Like the little carts?
The handicap.
That's what he had to get in.
Yeah, it was bad. So,
and he's like driving around.
I can't imagine a morphine.
His head hanging over.
Yeah, morphine. That was the first time I had morphine, and like it's weird because like during the experience, I feel like I'm like there and with it, but after the fact, I had like my family would be like, you remember this happening? And I was like, what are you talking? No, like I don't remember.
It
like,
gotcha.
half of my hospital stay. Like I don't know if it's from trauma, like trying to block it out, or from the morphine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was definitely like out of it.
That trauma is real though. I tell I'm really good about just like burying it way deep and like
just shove it down.
Maybe,
and then I'll save it for a later date.
Maybe I may not ever bring it back up. I don't even know. Like I used to say that, like my buddies and I'm like, and if you have a cancer tattoo, that is super cool for you. Like I'm not but I was always like, I'm gonna get this tattoo and it's gonna be cool because I'm gonna beat cancer and it's gonna be. And I'm like, man, now as I said, I'm like, man, I don't think I want anything.
Yeah,
like,
don't put it on my body.
I don't want the bumper sticker. I don't want any of it. But not that I'm not proud. That's a weird thing to say. I guess you are like proud to say that you're fighting it, but like, I don't wish it on anybody,
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
You just feel like this doesn't make any sense. Like that it exists. Like you're thinking of all the things we do and can do. We researched like inversion 16 specifically. It's a chromosome that kind of flips on me. And then that
I'm sure you know.
And I don't know exactly how yours may be similar, but I'm thinking we can't figure that out.
She went to medical school.
Yeah, she's a doctor. I get it. Yeah. Like
I'm
we
like
can't
a
figure this out.
1/4 doctor.
It counts. I just feel like we should like, obviously it is close to home to me, but like, can't we, how are we not figuring this out? Like this is really, it feels silly, not silly because it's not, but like, it feels like a really silly thing that we're allowing humanity to go and allow. I mean, obviously if someone could cure it, they would, I feel like, but then it's like, are we really trying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are we really actively like, I want to save the planet. I'm all about it. Like, I want to have a great planet, but like, if everybody's getting, like, we shouldn't be getting this disease. And nobody understands it. Like, young as we are, and if you really research it, it's a lot more young people between your age and mine that are getting it. So something's wrong.
And it's getting worse too.
Way worse.
I don't even get me started. I could go down a rabbit hole on that.
Yes.
I just think, I mean, I don't want to sound like crazy or like a
no.
I'm crazy. I'm a little crazy.
No, you're okay.
But like, I mean, think of how much money to like the pharmaceutical companies and like insurance companies profit off of us, because like a 5-day hospital stay is $250,000, and it's like I've had like 6 of
nothing. Yes, like, we talk about, like, I just didn't want to offend you just in case, but like we're like I'm like semi-sold, like I'm a piggy bank, like constant forever. Like, I mean, for a long time, right? For the next, because like the way they treat me, I'm not a dummy, and I think we do. I feel like and you're not either, so I think you'll relate. Like, so when they tell me something, especially my wife, by the time we've left the room, she's Googled it, right? So like, we're very knowledgeable. I make a joke to my my doctor was like, I'm going to be a doctor at the end of this. Like, I need to do this. And,
Yeah.
but like, and we used to make that joke, but then we went to Vanderbilt and he's like, I've really never worked with anybody that kind of knows as much as y'all do about the disease. He just said it was interesting. So I think I'm accurate in saying it. Like, so when I'm talking to those doctors and stuff, I'm like, I just feel like you really rushed into XYZ. And,
Yeah.
and did you actually did you just guess at this? Or is there real science here? And I'm not maybe.
And he just meant like prior treatment. Like
Yeah.
For sure.
Not where I'm at now, like in Vanderbilt, but like just in general with the disease, you're like, I mean, are you just guessing? Or like some of it, a lot of it doesn't add up to me in the way they treat the disease. Like if like I've asked, Vanderbilt stem cell team says there's no way to be cured other than this stem cell transplant. You go to the oncologist or the hematologist and they say, well, you can be cured by chemo. This percentage are. So I'm like, well, which is it? Y'all kind of work together, because I kind of like am starting to lean towards like, I think you need a stem cell transplant. Like I always kind of said that. I'm like, well, if chemo cures me, what's going to stop my body from doing this again?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me, like how you're going to send me on my way, after chemotherapy. And I just, anyway, yeah, it does make you feel like it's a big money grab because they're like, oh, get labs once a week. And then you know what? Like I have like x-rays and stuff that I know I didn't get. Like, I know I didn't get them. Like they're like 1 a.m. I was like, hold up, you charged me for this.
Yeah, I think, it's good that like, I think more patients need to like question their doctors because I think for so long people just, trust their doctors and like you want to because they go to school for this, but
Sure.
like we're still human, like no one
That's
knows
right.
everything. And like I've also just seen like so much on the internet about like holistic approaches to like,
Sure.
boosting your immune system or like, anything that can help cancer patients. And they don't they don't talk about that stuff. Like they don't
At
talk
all.
about like certain vitamins you can take or certain foods. And it's like, why are we like just drug pushing like for like there's so many remedies to so many symptoms too even.
Sure.
And like for me, I know, I guess what I hear as a medical student is like you spend like a week or two learning about like nutrition, which is like the base
Yeah,
of
that's crazy.
your health, basically. Like it's what you're feeding your body, it's what your cells are using to build your muscles, and like
Yeah.
so it's just I don't
Drugs
know, like
first. No, I
yeah,
get it.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I think it shouldn't be that way. I think there's lots of you should try other things and you should be skeptical of
Yep. I
whatever
agree.
because
And they can
just
go
look out
hand in
yourself.
hand. Yeah.
Courtney's really big on, she's way better at like questioning the system than me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they're doctors, let them, no, I mean, yeah, give it to me. I'm fine. Yeah, I'll take it. You want me to take it? But
Right.
where Courtney's like, wait, hold on.
I'm over here. I'm like, what
Yeah.
vitamins
Yeah.
go good with this?
Yeah, I'm
Good,
really
that's
bad
good.
about that. About advocation probably is my worst quality. Yeah, not good at it. But yeah, that's crazy. I'm glad you said that because we talk about that stuff all the time. Like,
Yeah,
it just healthcare in general kind of sucks. I mean,
it does. Yeah.
Our current hospital, we haven't stayed there yet, but I think it's going to be a good experience. But
I think it probably depends on where you're at.
Yeah,
For
ours
sure,
here's
for sure.
In the country too, or in the world.
And you're at MD Anderson, right?
Yes.
And they're like the top, right? That's
yeah, they're the best. And like my doctor is like it's funny when I was referred to her, my oncologist in Grand Rapids, Michigan, who was also great, like he was very smart, and
Sure.
I was very thankful that he like knew his limits and was like knew when to refer me.
Yep.
Yeah, very similar
appreciated
situation.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, she talking about my new oncologist. she's like the LeBron James of AML. Like, she's the best. And I was
Hey,
like,
That's
that's good
awesome.
though.
whoa.
Yeah. I want her.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'll have the LeBron James, and it's
Yeah.
funny
No.
because now I call my stem cell transplant doctor here. He's like the expert of GVHD, so I call him Steph Curry. So I have LeBron and Steph Curry.
Heck
That's
yeah.
awesome.
We were gonna go there.
Yeah.
Like we could do either insurance. I mean, it was gonna cost me the same, really. But Nashville was just much closer. We have two
Yeah.
boys, so it's a little,
Yeah, no
you know,
brainer for you guys. You have a
logistically.
family.
But yeah,
How you brought graft versus host disease up? Did you experience any of that like within that 6 months period, or?
Yeah, I did. I like very mildly. So like
Mhm.
it took a while for my doctor to like be like, is this just you being nauseous or is it GVHD? And then it was like mild GVHD of my gut. So almost every morning I was getting sick.
oh, wow.
And I had diarrhea and
Sure, right.
Yeah,
just the GI stuff.
tummy
And
stuff. Okay.
yeah, and they got a scope and like they didn't really see GVHD. They just saw like irritation, but they were like, it's probably GVHD.
Sure.
So I went on steroids for it, and that fixed my problems right away. Like oral steroids, not
Mhm.
IV steroids.
Not the angry
IV
steroids.
yeah, oral steroids, and that helped right away. But I think it kind of sucks looking back at it because when you have GVHD, they're like hesitant to taper your immunosuppression meds,
Mhm.
which for me, I guess I know, like, I trusted my doctors and I know they did
Mhm.
everything they could in Grand Rapids, but I feel like they were a little too conservative with my tapering because of the like mild GVHD.
Sure.
Because like they're scared that the GVHD is going to get out of control, which can be really dangerous too. But
Yeah.
like the steroids were working for me, so I was like, why can't we just keep me on steroids and then continue to taper me? Because like
Mhm.
I need these immunosuppression drugs to be tapered so my stem cells can like
Right.
work and fight and have a chance.
That makes sense. I didn't think about that part of like
Yeah,
managing the.
that's the part that makes me nervous.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
immunosuppressants.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy. Like that. My wife's gonna kill me because I'm so off track the whole time. But
no, you're good.
like
You're
I think
okay.
it is. So what was your donor like? How did they like out of like my Vanderbilt does 12 out of 12 or what would be a perfect. So what was your situation?
Mine, I was very fortunate. So like it was actually like like a blessing and a relief when right when I found out I needed a stem cell transplant, they hooked me up with a nurse, like my coordinator, and she was like, I already ran you through the system. You have 8 matches.
Oh wow.
And so I had a lot of options, and mine was a
Yeah.
12 out of 12
Okay.
perfect match. So I was very
Mhm.
lucky, and I'm still very lucky because, I need a second
Still.
transplant and I have options to switch it up.
That's
Good for you,
awesome.
though.
Yeah.
And- 'cause-
That's all over the board too. I know we've had some people which, they'll be say 5-6 years post transplant, but for them, so I think maybe standards have changed, but some of them were like, yeah, I had an 8 out of 8 or 7 out of 8, which now I know at Vandy, they were like, oh no, that's not even, we won't even consider that.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so
like so it may be something to look into but I don't think, obviously your doctors are going to do what they want to do because you have the Steph Curry of stem cell transplant. But
yeah.
Something I find interesting, and maybe I'm just like grabbing a little bit, because this is my situation. My son is my match, and he's a half match. But my doctors and others have talked about how a little graft is good. How is there
I've heard
such
that
thing as
too.
too good of a match? Possibly, like if you have a perfect match, this is what both Vanderbilt and the other doctor actually said this. I guess there's some speculation out there. Can we match it up too perfectly that it doesn't graft enough to actually fight the leukemia? And I just thought that was like, it obviously made me feel a little better, but at the same time, I guess knowing what it has to do does make a little sense. I don't know what they're matching. Maybe they're matching also to, prevent graft. That's obviously what they're trying to do, I guess. Graft versus host. They're trying to minimize that. But I don't know. I just thought that was a little interesting.
That is interesting. I haven't thought about that, but that's that makes sense. And because they do say a little GVHD is good because it means fighting, and that's what you want ultimately.
Right,
that's what your own immune system can't do against these cancer cells. So that makes sense for sure.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't obviously.
And that's all over the board, just like with the disease itself and how people's treatments vary too, and everything that comes along with it. So it's just a wild thing. Yeah. So do you want me to kind of go through the questions that you've got listed?
Oh, did I
kind of rapid fire those?
Oh yeah, those are fun. I'm sorry. I know we're gonna we've kept you longer. I know than I said I would.
Well, I am gonna ask some. I don't know, would they be like funny? I guess kind of. But I'm gonna ask you some probably a little bit deeper ones first, and you can just answer them quickly. Okay. What do you feel like is one thing you've learned about yourself just through this experience so far? And it doesn't have to be like say super deep, but just curious, like maybe something you've experienced that changed for you as far as perspective goes.
Yeah, I think probably becoming more vulnerable and like caring less what people think of me.
Yeah.
Because truly like going through this, it's like, oh, you don't like me? Who cares? I have cancer. So I think that's
I
what
say
I've
that all
learned.
the time.
Yeah. Have you seen those TikToks where they talk about like I had whatever it is, you can't hurt my feelings?
Yeah,
I've seen those exactly.
That's what that reminded me of. Yeah. Okay. And then another one is, if you could go back to the day of diagnosis, is there any advice you would give yourself, or would you just let things play out just the way they have already?
I mean, I think everything, how it's played out, has like taught me a lot. And I think I've grown a lot from everything. But I think the hardest part of my journey was when I like feeling like I lost hope and like not wanting to fight anymore when it got really hard. And I think the biggest thing I've learned out of all of this is just to like be positive and like always have hope, always have something to fight for and look forward to, because I really think that mindset is what gets you through stuff like this.
Yeah.
I believe that.
And you say that, and that kind of flows into, we want you to tell people about your My Mantra project.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I draw, for those who don't know. In high school, I started drawing because it was required in art class, but I didn't know I was good at it. I think it's just because I'm like super type A and like a perfectionist. So I got really into like drawing portraits of people. And at first it was like, drawing like a picture for my family for like Christmas or something like that, or just, doing it for fun. And then when I was diagnosed with cancer, I hadn't drawn in a long time because I was busy with med school, but my family, they were all like, you should get back into drawing. You have all this time and whatever. So I was like, we'll see. And I eventually did. But so I started drawing commission artwork for people just because I wasn't making any money at the time. I didn't have a job and I couldn't have a job. And and then my first visit to MD Anderson, I ended up going to a Holocaust museum, and there was and I'm like really interested in the Holocaust. Like I'm like a nerd about it. But there was a room with like portraits of these survivors, like who are older now, like paintings of them. And on the side, it was their stories. And I just thought it was so cool to like look at their face and then read their story. And like, I was like, wow. Cause like otherwise, if their story wasn't there, like it's just a face, like
right.
You can't relate to it.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And so I was flying back to Michigan, and I was like, oh my gosh, it'd be so cool to draw like cancer. Originally, I just was thinking of cancer fighters or survivors
Sure.
and sharing their story. So, and then I was thinking of like what their mantra was, because mine is "I am the storm," and I got that from, I came across it on TikTok or something, and the quote is, "The devil whispered in your ear, you're not strong enough to withstand the storm." And today I whisper back, um, uh, in the name of Christ Jesus, I am the storm. What you sent to break me, God is using to make me more like Jesus. And so
Yeah.
I
like that.
loved that quote.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's really good.
Yeah, for me, that I was like, okay, whenever it's a hard day, I'm gonna be like, I'm the storm, I'm the storm.
Yeah.
So
That's
I was
awesome.
thinking, thanks. Yeah, I was thinking of like, whatever people say to get through like tough times. And then I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to draw a portrait, put their mantra above it, like of their face.
Sure.
And then do like a time lapse of me drawing it, and then over the time lapse video, share their story. So it's like the modern version of like,
I love it.
Yeah.
sharing people's stories. And at first, yeah, it was just, I was thinking about cancer patients, but then I started thinking about like, addiction or mental health
Absolutely.
or, abuse or just anything someone goes through. And like, it's like therapeutic to me to help people and like to draw like their face and to know what they're going through and to share that. And so that's how that started, the My Mantra project. And I haven't done it for a while just because I've been, busy with my health
Sure.
and stuff, but I definitely want to get back to it soon
Would you
when I'm
want
feeling better.
us to share? I know you have like a separate page for that.
Yeah.
Would you want us to share a link?
Sure, yeah. It's
Okay.
I'm on TikTok and I share the videos on that, but I have like a separate page for the My Mantra project on Instagram that has like the reels of the stories, and that's
Okay.
at mymantra.project.
Okay.
Okay.
And
We can do it while like across here while we're
Yeah.
talking.
And I'll make sure to grab the link too.
We'll do like, I
before
may
he
get you this.
posts anything.
cool.
So I remember, this is another one. I remember seeing your first video where you posted and you said, taking back what cancer took from me. And I had watched, I think maybe it was a video, maybe one or two videos back from that. And I know that you were probably pretty low at that point. I think like prior to making the first taking back what cancer took from me. And I just remember like we were sitting on the couch and I know Colton was feeling horrible because he was going through treatment. And I just remember, obviously it makes you sad, I know you guys talk about that, but it does. And then when I saw that video come up, I don't know, it was super inspiring. What is that kind of what led you to start making those? Is just obviously what it says, like taking back what you felt like you lost.
Yeah, that's exactly like you said. That was the lowest point of my cancer journey. I had just gotten discharged from the hospital where I was in the ICU and I almost lost my life with pneumonia. And
Oh my gosh.
then I was in the hospital to get in remission to get a transplant, and my biopsy showed that the chemo didn't work at all. My cancer cells tripled. And so I was just like, oh my gosh. And I was feeling horrible. And so then I went on a clinical trial and that didn't work either for me. So that was the point where they were like, you need to go to Houston. And I just felt like that's when I felt hopeless. And I was getting sick every day. I could barely stand for more than 30 seconds. I was passing out all the time.
Oh my gosh.
And I just like I was like, I'd rather be in heaven right now. Like, and I
understand.
I wasn't saying that to anyone because, like protecting those you love, but like that's truly how I felt. And I ended up getting a text message from a mom of another woman who was my age who had AML, and she was going through the exact same thing as me. She relapsed after transplant. They wanted her to get a second one, and she just was not feeling good. She didn't feel strong enough, and she didn't want to do it anymore. And I like related to that, and so I told her, I said, you can have your daughter reach out to me. Like, I feel the exact same way. And then a couple weeks after that, I hadn't heard anything from her daughter, and her mom texted me after Christmas and was sending me like, you should talk to your doctor about these trials, and like, you need to keep fighting, like, you got this, like, don't give up. And I was like, oh, thank you, like, how's your daughter doing? And she said that she passed. And it just broke my heart. I just,
Absolutely.
because I was her at that point, and I didn't want to fight anymore either. And just to have this mom say, you know, please just keep fighting, like, you're gonna get through this. Like, her mom needed me to get through it because of,
Right.
you know, and I wanted to fight again. I was like, this is horrible. I want to fight. I don't want to die. I need to get past this. I need to find hope. And that's when I started making those videos, because I just like needed something to do every day, even if it was just making a video talking about how I sat on the couch all day. It was something, and I was still getting support from people, you know, commenting on my videos, and like I needed that, and it truly saved my life, because like at this point, you know, I'm still not in remission, and I'm still waiting for a transplant, but like the way I feel today compared to how I was feeling then, like, is just night and day. And that's where I say, like, the biggest thing I've learned from this is don't lose hope, because I think like once you lose hope, like that's it, you know, like you got to keep fighting and believing it's going to get better, because otherwise,
it's like your body knows.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when I felt at my worst, is when I didn't believe in myself, and when I didn't think I was going to live anymore. And when I changed my mindset, like, yeah, I've had hard days and I still do, but at least I'm like, it's just one hard day, and hopefully tomorrow's a little better, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's for me, like I said earlier, is like talking about it and sharing my story. It's just, it's something I have to do to get through this.
I love
because I feel like it helps me, and I know I've had a lot of people reach out to me. It's helping them, and
absolutely
I get support from it. So
Yeah.
I get
there's
that.
definitely, like you said, it saved your life. Because I've tried to keep up with all of them. And so from the first day until, you know, your most recent one, there's definitely, you can see the progression. And like you said, I know you're still feeling bad and you've had bad days. And it saved your life, but it also inspired us, because, you know, like I said, we would also be sitting on the couch, you know, and he's not feeling good. So I sit next to him, and then we would see you post, and we're like, we can do this. Like, we've got this. So yeah, you inspired a lot of people, and we don't say that lightly.
No.
When we say it, we mean it. So it's not just for show or podcast. We truly mean it, and you can tell, like, even through social media, just through the screen, that's who you are, and that's what's shining through. So yeah.
I
love it.
So now I'm going to ask our, like, probably, I guess, rapid fire questions that are a little funnier. Weirdest gift you received during treatment, or just through this whole process?
She's like, I'm about to call them out. It's a weird gift. They know,
but like, you still appreciate it if you feel okay to share.
You know what? I guess like not even like, it's not weird, but it's like, it's different, I guess.
Sure.
I actually just received it like 2 weeks ago. This woman put together, her and her husband put together like a really beautiful gift for me, and very thoughtful, because it was like all these things that I just loved. And one of them was like a 2 or like a 1.5 foot tall like stuffed Jesus, and
That's
I opened
cool.
it, and that
I
was
get
the
it. I get
first
it.
thing I saw, and I was like, "That's amazing! I
No, that's
love
cool.
that."
I don't think
Yeah,
I remember you sharing the mini ones, and then they were like, "You
yeah.
can." I remember your video of them saying you couldn't share them anymore. So that would be funny if you could start putting the giant one
I was like,
everywhere.
"Yeah, exactly." So
I didn't get
that's
anything
funny.
like that. I don't have anything.
Yeah, what
like
was
that.
the weirdest?
I
I
don't
don't
have
even
anything.
know.
I just got
Yeah.
100 blankets.
Yeah, he just keeps
Oh,
getting
me
blankets
too.
all the time.
But I mean, I use them, so it's cool. But
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
Weirdest thing someone has said to you after diagnosis. Now, to make you feel more comfortable, Colton, do you want to share one of yours first? That
oh
way,
man,
Kenzie feels okay outing
yeah,
maybe
I've
someone.
got several. Like people, I think it's people not knowing what to say, and then like maybe not even thinking about what they're going to say before they, we meet and talk. But like I've had one person say, even if God doesn't do anything for you, he's already done enough. And then he said, I'll see you at the gates of heaven, something like that. And I was like, oh, and then I had
That was like immediately after.
yeah, I had someone say, I bet this is the worst year. That's my son, actually. He's like, Dad, I bet this is the worst year of your life. And I was like, yeah, so far. What was another we had?
And he actually had a nurse tell him, well, he was, again in the hospital for a couple of days trying to get blood and platelets, and they, taking forever around here. And a nurse told you, we'll just be thankful it's not that bad for you. You're still okay.
Yeah,
And he was like, and he's like laying in the bed, like
You're the
barely
best nurse
conscious.
ever. Gosh, that
it was
pissed
weird.
me off.
So what would be something weird someone said to you, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh, well, I think I've had a lot of like just kind of funny ones. Like one time I was going in my cancer clinic to get labs, and I was like waiting in line for the receptionist to like check me in. And this is a cancer clinic. And
Mhm.
she goes, "All right, sir, I'll take you next." And I was like,
Okay.
I was like, "Excuse me?" Like, I was like, "I know I don't have hair, but I don't look like a sir."
Like not a boy.
Right, like I'm
Look at
like,
my cute face.
yeah,
Hey, that's
I was like, and I was wearing like a ball cap and like
Mhm.
a long sleeve shirt. Like I
That's funny.
wasn't looking like super feminine by any means, but like I was like, "Lady, like I'm 5'3", first of all."
Did they correct it at all?
Yeah, I got closer and she looked at
Okay,
me. She
good.
was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, ma'am." And I was like,
God.
"It's okay." I was
Yeah.
like, "This is probably worse for you than it is for me." 'Cause I
Yeah.
know
Way
if
worse.
I said that, I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
be mortified.
Oh my God. Especially,
So
somebody going through treatment,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of
yeah.
bald, like oddly my bald jokes have gone way up. Like I've always kind of shaved my head or most, a lot,
Mhm.
but just like, like I'm not bald like genetically.
Yeah.
Like I'm bald because I have cancer.
I
Like,
didn't choose this. Yeah.
yeah, like I get it a lot. It's like an awkward tick for people. I think they're like, "Oh yeah, you're bald," and I'm like, "Okay."
You don't get cancer, right?
My eyebrows are falling.
Yeah.
You want to see? I have no armpit hair. You want to see it?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this is when Colton put down. He said, "What is the best chemo perk so far? Have you got anything cool like a front row parking or guilt-free naps? Obviously happen. What if you had to pick something? What would it be?"
I would definitely say the naps because
Mhm.
I can literally fall asleep anywhere at
Mhm.
any time, and it's just like it's funny because at MD Anderson they have these volunteers and they'll like come like bring a warm blanket and put it over you while
Right,
you're
yeah.
lying in the waiting room, and I'm like, this is like awesome. Like I
Kinda
can literally
bougie, isn't
sleep
it?
all
Yeah.
day and like no one's judging me for it. So
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
the guilt-free naps.
I do like when you post your videos and you'll be like, I just woke up from a nap. And I'm like, man, she still looks so snuggly.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's the only thing I've had like I had people reach out like football teams and stuff like that. Was kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. You had someone from the Eagles.
Yeah,
right?
that was neat. Have you had anything
Oh,
like
that's
that?
cool. no, I haven't.
Yeah.
That's sweet,
I have
though.
the Eagles, the Browns. I'm an Oklahoma Sooner fan, college football.
Yeah.
So they reached out, which was pretty cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I've gotten a lot of support, like, from my medical school and, like, my
Mm-hmm.
community and, like people who
Sure.
know me already, but nothing like that. Like, I remember when I was first diagnosed, I was like, it was when Taylor Swift was doing her Eras tour, and I was like, oh, I'm milking this to get tickets. Like,
No luck?
but I didn't do that. No, I didn't do it. So
Oh, you should have done it. Yeah, I
I
mean,
should
you
have.
Okay,
should
we
have.
gotta
We're gonna
get
have
our
to
shout
step
out.
it. We're gonna get you those tickets. Don't you worry.
Well, I think it kind
Thank
of
you.
like the person from the Eagles, he used to, you knew the connection, right?
Right.
Like,
So it was like it wasn't just like the Eagles didn't go, oh, we like this guy. It was like someone knew someone who knew, and then it
yeah.
just kind of.
And then I
Gotcha.
reached out like on an Oklahoma fan page, and I was like, I'm just trying to get him a shout out, like, you know, whatever, because I
Yeah.
think our
Aw.
anniversary was coming up.
Yeah.
And then they actually had the coach reach out,
He
and they
called
sent
me,
him a
which
signed
was cool.
football, and I was like, whoa, that was way more than I
That's
was thinking. So yeah,
It was
that's
cool.
so cool. That's so cool.
yeah.
For me, it was
Oh my
great.
God.
What's you like the Lions, right?
Yeah, the Detroit Lions.
See, I'm
'Cause
a stalker.
yeah. Well, they're doing so good for the first time like ever. Like they always suck, and finally, like
Y'all are great now.
yeah, now they're great. Except they lost in the first round of playoffs, which was disappointing. But
I actually was. I'm a
whatever.
Dallas Cowboy fan by, like, it's not something I'm proud of necessarily, but it's just it is what it is. But like I was pulling for y'all this year. I was super disappointed. You know,
Yeah,
at the end of like
thanks.
when my season came to a crashing halt, I was like, all right, let's go Lions. It
Yeah,
didn't work out.
I appreciate it. It was, this year hopefully is our year. We say it every year, but
Sound
this
like
is our
now you're
year.
turning into a Cowboys fan. So do we have accents? I meant to ask you this. Do we have accents to you? Because your accent is wild to me.
Really?
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
we probably sound like
Yeah.
hillbillies.
I mean, I guess it wasn't the first thing I thought of, but like some of the things you guys say, like I think I don't know. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that sounds southern,
Your husband always trips me out when he's cooking. He says pasta.
Pasta.
I'm like, pasta. Yeah, that's the one that I recall.
Well, I made fun of him when he called you earlier. I heard him on the phone, and he said, "Yes, ma'am," and I was like, "Oh God, that was southern. It's really coming through."
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know. Yeah, I don't know.
I love that and it's funny, like here at MD Anderson, like they always call me ma'am, or they call me like Miss Mackenzie, and I'm like, I love that. Like I feel like proper.
We have some friends there from Alaska, actually, and so we're getting used to like the northern. It's way different. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because you guys like don't really say ma'am, right? Like yes, ma'am. Do you?
Not really. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I guess like to strangers I do. Like if they're like if I'm like trying to get around them, I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, or like excuse me, sir, but that's about it.
Nothing
When I'm
like
trying
here.
to be polite.
What'd you say? Did you say ma'am?
Because they were like, they had when they moved and their kids started going to school. They're like, yeah, the teachers make them say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. I was like, yeah.
Wow, that's
but I've lived here my whole life. Yeah. Okay, so
oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and apparently, like, we have accents to like the rest of Michigan, like we're like more like Canadian, I guess. So like,
okay,
I can hear it. No, it's like I can hear it a lot. Like it's great. We just don't hear anything else.
Like after
here.
he said something, I can hear it, but I don't know. You just have a really clean accent voice to me. Yeah,
at least Siri can probably understand you most of the time. Yeah,
I just feel like I sound like a.
I swear.
Okay. So, all right. So next one, most outrageous cancer purchase. And the reason this one is written down is because like 2 weeks So Colton was diagnosed, and then they started doing medicine. He started feeling better, started chemo, and then like a couple of days later, he was like, "I think I'm gonna buy this," and it was like Yeti backpack and like a duffel bag. And if you know anything about Yeti, they're really expensive.
Yeah.
And he was like,
I bought it though.
You know, he's like YOLO.
YOLO.
He's like, I got cancer.
Literally any purchase I have, like when I'm shopping, I'm like, I have cancer. I can buy this. Like,
I do it all the time. Like, yeah, I might die.
So anything.
I might die. I mean, I might as well. You know, I bought a few things actually. I bought an espresso machine.
But that's handy. Yeah,
I'm good at it now. Like my hobby is like my hobby. I mean,
yeah, it is.
I have a lot of hobbies, but yes, I'm pretty good at making espresso. So yeah,
that's a good skill to have.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
I think mine is probably, well, the first week I was diagnosed, I think my dad just like was being a dad and was like, what do you need for the hospital? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, ooh, what do I need? And I got these like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the platform Crocs, but I got platform like fuzzy Crocs, and they just look so ridiculous that I was like, I have to have these in the hospital. Like, and my dad was like, yeah.
Oh, I've seen them. I know what you're talking about. That's not that bad. That's way cheaper than what I spent on a duffel bag and a backpack. Heck yeah, we'll buy you 20. We'll send you a pair of Crocs, matter of fact.
Yeah. Well, that was like the strangest. And I guess recently I got this. I posted a video of it, but I got a tricycle, like a motorized tricycle.
That's cool.
Because, like, you know, like some days I can walk or some days I can't. So my mom was like, I think you need to be outside more, and I think you need to get a medical scooter. And I was like, I'm not getting a medical scooter, Mom. Like, no, I'm not doing that. And then so we compromised, and it originally started with me getting like a stand-up electric scooter. Yeah. And then she's like, no, you need something to like sit down and something that's not going to make you fall over. And I was like, a tricycle. And then I saw like a motorized tricycle, and I was like, that is awesome. Yeah.
They are cool.
Like he loves it.
I loved it. I was like, Courtney, I think,
wow.
It's like, I'm feeling kind of sick. I think I need that.
He was like, did you see her tricycle?
I was like, I'm going to find a grant. I'm sure there's got to be like a leukemia society thing that'll buy me this. It's out
Probably. There. It's justified. Like,
I feel like it is.
It was like, I got it on Amazon too. And it was like $700, I think. But
that's not bad though. I mean,
no, it wasn't bad, but you had to put it together yourself, which was just a pain. It took forever to do, and it's like so tedious. So like I would have rather just like had someone. I'd pay someone to put it together.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm glad you said that. When I get mine, no, I'm bored. I think I've cancer purchased it out at this point. Like I think I'm way took advantage of. Like I had asked.
The next one can be, stem cell.
Maybe. Yeah, stem cell purchase. Yeah, man.
Stem cell purchase. Like, you deserve it.
I asked a lady about. My kids want to go to Universal. So they didn't get any trip. We didn't go any trips this year, obviously.
I like how he says the kids. He does too.
Well, yeah, me too. But I in my head, I'm like, I want to go on this big trip whenever I can. So I called the lady and I was like, I have cancer. And she's like, oh, okay. I said, so what is there out there for me? What can I do? There's nothing. There's nothing. It doesn't help. There's no, Universal does not recognize cancer.
Rude.
Yeah, I was like, all right. Yeah, I was like, not a 10% discount or something like that, No, that was great.
Like we don't get Make-A-Wish when we're adults with cancer.
No,
like come on,
you don't. No, I've had a few people, like a close friends, like do things for us. Nothing crazy, grand gesture, but they'll be like, okay, well, here's your Make-A-Wish, and I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pull that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
please, it's my Make-A-Wish. And they're like, my friends are like,
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah. I do. I get my friends all the time. They've lightened up
Yeah.
though. They kind of, they at first they were like, "Oh man, look, you can't say that." I'm like,
He's like, yes,
"Yeah, I
I
can. I
can.
actually
Yeah.
can."
You can
Yeah.
say whatever I want.
So we're curiosity for me before we wrap up. Like, where are you at now? So I keep up with you pretty closely now. Well,
Mhm.
I didn't keep up with your pre-story real good, which I think we said, but I definitely kept up with, since since we've been in contact from then. I've kept, so I
Mhm.
kind of know, but like, so where are you today though? Like in treatment, um, and what is the goal, there? I know what it is, but
Mhm.
I like people to know.
Yeah, so I relapsed in July, and then the goal from there is just to get into remission to get a second transplant. So I had in November was in the hospital for a month and on chemo, and that didn't work. And then I was on my first clinical trial in January. That didn't work. And then that's when I went to MD Anderson and got on a clinical trial that was working, and like I was felt feeling great on it, like didn't have any severe symptoms. It was just working really slowly. So like when I started that trial, my blast percentage was I think at like 60. And then it got down to my most recent biopsy was 12%.
Oh,
And
wow, dude, that's really good though.
yeah, so it was working, but it was just working slowly. And like, because my oncologist was hoping I'd only need to do 2 rounds of it, and I did 3 rounds
Mhm.
of it. And
Okay.
then more like data came out about that drug, and it turned out that it was working for people, but it was taking like 12 rounds to actually get to remission, which would
Mm.
be a whole year.
So she's just
So
trying to expedite that a bit.
yeah,
Okay.
I just started a new trial, and which is nice because it's a oral drug, and I take it like 10 days out of the month. So like I take it for day 1 through 5, and then I think 18 through day 23.
Okay.
And um, so like really the only time I have to go in the hospital was my first day when they were doing like they were just drawing labs to get the chemistry and the kinetics on how the drug was working, because it's a trial drug, so they have to
Sure.
do that. Um, So, but other than that, I just go in for like checkups and like when I need labs and transfusions, which is like twice a week. So the schedule's a lot better for that now, which is nice.
Sure.
Um, and I'm only on day 6 of it. So I'll get a biopsy in a few weeks to see how it's working. And hopefully, my oncologist is hopeful that I'll get to remission after 2 rounds of it, and then
Let's
hopefully
go.
get a transplant in August. So that would be like best
Be
case
awesome.
scenario for me. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And what is, because I don't know the answer to this, like where do you have to be blast wise, like percentage? Like where do you have to be? I know 5% is remission. Is that where you have to be to get
Is that where they
transplant?
want you? Is what he's asking.
Well,
So
I mean, they
yeah,
want you at MRD negative,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, like, where
mhm.
is like that threshold that says, you can have transplant,
I actually just asked my oncologist last week because, like, you always hear like under 5% transplant, and I asked her that. I said, "So, like, if I'm under 5%, are we going forward with a transplant, or do you want me MRD negative?" And she said, you have to be MRD negative for a second transplant, because
I didn't know that.
basically she was saying that if it didn't work the first time, then if you aren't MRD negative
Sure.
for the second transplant, it's definitely like not going to work for you. So
Okay.
I just found that out. So I have
Okay.
to be
That's,
MRD negative.
but I really believe, I mean, I'm not just saying it to be positive, but like, I also want to be positive, but I am also, I mean, I think that you look great, and
Thanks.
yeah, yeah. And I think that the drastic drop there is really, I mean, I know it wasn't the same drug, but the fact that they were willing to move you to another drug, even after having that I know it took a while, but at least it was working. I just think that feels right. You know, I think, and you're in the right place to, you know, as far as, you know, experiments and I call it experiments.
Right.
I can't think, what is it called? A trial. But
It's
yeah,
an
like
experiment. Yeah.
science experiment. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I really believe, like, other than like the faith side of me, I really believe you're going to get there.
Thank you.
I've been
Thank you.
around a few people that were pretty sick and didn't, you know, get there. And I just think there's a big difference, you know, where you're at. And I know you don't feel great all the time, obviously, but I just feel really good about it personally. And I think we've said that, Courtney and I, you know, said it a lot. You know, we just feel good about. It sucks that you're having to. It just sucks, you know, like you said, but just the journey's so long. You know, there's no way to really expedite it, which sucks. Like everybody's like, "How was your biopsy?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know." You know, like it takes a while to get the one you're looking for, and so.
And you're at a great place too. So
you're at a great place.
There's pros for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely. I have a lot of confidence in the doctors here because, like, like they're just so confident and like they have like answers for you so quickly, and like this is what they're doing all the time. They're getting the worst.
That's
of
nice,
the worst.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So I just have so much confidence in them, and that's nice to just have peace in that. Yeah. Like I feel good right now, and like compared to before I got here. So like that's just proof in itself that like I'm in the best place I can be. So I'm just thankful for that.
And your body can do it though. Like, you know, that's like you can feel confident that because you're like you were really bad when you came in and now your body can heal and it's not like it's past, you know, as people might look at it, you know, like we had a friend, the one, you know, he went blind for a minute and then 1 or 2, I don't know the full story, but like, you know what I mean? That would be super discouraging, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, like people, but he can see now and he's fully healthy and, you know, has made the recovery.
Awesome.
So, you know, the body can, you know, you're young, you're healthy. And I think that you got that on yourself. I mean, I hate hearing that all the time too, but like, you know, I think that you're young, you'll be fine. Really, I don't feel fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
can't be true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that I say that me exercising before really played a big part. I think in me being able to
and active,
push through pain and, you know, things of that nature. But
and we, you know, I know we've touched on faith, but we do want to ask, how can we pray for you? And, you know, how do you want other people to pray for you?
Oh, thanks for asking that. I love when people ask me that because, you know, I'm strong in my faith too. And I pray for you guys too and would be happy to take any of your requests. But I think probably just the biggest struggles I have is just, you know, just staying positive. And so I guess praying for a positive mindset and you can, you know, continue trusting God and if that I get in remission. That's the biggest one.
Hey, let's go.
So those are the biggest, and I thank you for asking. Yeah. I appreciate it.
We will. Well, you know, I didn't know I had a good support team till I had to use it, and so we have a really praying community around us. You know, and so we'll put it out there, and obviously we're going to be praying for you for sure. And you have friends in us. I mean, I know people say that, like, you can call me if you need anything. I've heard it 100 times. And I do believe that I could if I needed to. But, you know, we know where you're at and your husband. We know where y'all are at. Maybe we get a little group text or something. But, you know, if you really want to chat it up other than the podcast, obviously, we're, you know, we're here. You know, we get it. And it sucks. It just that's the only way. That's like the word that comes to mind for me. But we'll pray for you, and I really believe, like, I'm super, super confident. You know, I think that where you're at, you know, maybe if you'd have been there 6 months ago, or I don't know how long you've been there now, but you know, maybe things might be progressed a little bit more, but I think you're like in a great place,
Mhm.
you know, and,
Mhm.
and I kind of feel
Definitely.
that for myself too, if I'm being honest. Like, I wonder where my story would be
Mhm.
had we went straight to Vanderbilt. You know, we
Right.
like our,
That's
we
what
like
I
our,
think
my
about too.
oncologist here is great. You know, like we like him, we love him. You know, he's
Mhm.
great, but I do think that there's just you kind of it clicked for me when you said, when you ask a question, they can answer it. They are confident in what they're saying. And
Yep.
we noticed,
the
not that he,
difference,
you
yeah.
know, we love our guy here, but there is a massive difference in there's levels to it, it seems, you know, and
For
it
sure.
is, you're like, we ask a question and it's not like, well, we'll see, you know, how this comes back and then we'll figure it out. But it's no, it's like pop, 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 you know, this is what it's going to look like. I asked mine flat out recently, like, can I beat this? You know, can my body do this? And they, you know,
Mhm.
they said, yes. I've never been
Yeah.
told that before, you know. It was always like, well, that's the goal, you know.
Right.
But they're like, yes, no, yes, we feel good, you know. Then they throw out these percentages, you know, but yeah, so I really, I can relate to that, and we're here for you, more than just
Thank
for a
you.
podcast. I just wanted to get you on. I think your story is really cool, and you seem like a cool person, and we've confirmed it. You're a cool person, so
Yes.
that's
Thank you. You guys are
Okay.
awesome too. Thank you. Well, I'm
Thank
here for
you.
you too. I know you have a stem cell transplant coming up, so if you have any questions or concerns while you're going
Be
through
careful.
that,
I'm a question man.
He's chatty.
Be careful. Hey,
I
I
have
have
lots of
this
time
symptom.
on my
What does this mean? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you want to do some Harry Potter?
Do you? Okay. Have you seen
Yeah.
Harry Potter movies?
I have seen Harry Potter.
Have you read any
I
of them? No, just seen the
I
movie.
haven't read them. I've watched the movies like 3 times, and I do love Harry Potter. I wouldn't
Okay,
say
well,
I'm
we
like
got you.
I
So we
haven't
did.
read all
crazy
the
about
books.
It's
it,
a.
Yeah.
but
I'm
I
gonna let
do
you grab
love
it
it.
and you pull them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have.
I lose every
We
time.
do this every time. Yeah, she's seen the movies, and I'm a kind of a Harry Potter freak. I love it. And I have a wand tattooed on my finger. It's pretty serious around here. So my son, he did the song for us. Sorry, it's kind of loud. But we do trivia. Someone 3D printed this for us, and right now I'm just destroying Courtney and Harry Potter trivia. Now I will say I did put I put some new ones in here, and they're kind of advanced. I'm going to be honest.
No.
Yeah, I asked some to Elijah the other day, so I'm going to ask you. I'll ask you and Courtney both one.
Okay.
So this one will be for. Let's see. Let me read it first, and then I'll see if I want to ask you this one or not. I'm going to ask Courtney this one. This is kind of tough. It says, what is the Christmas event held to celebrate the Tri-Wizard Tournament? I'm going to give you a hint. It's a dance.
Yeah.
That's not in the name.
Mm-hmm.
When I say it, you might know it. Okay, well, do either one of you know it?
I don't remember it. I'm just gonna
I
be
don't
honest.
either.
It's bad.
I don't
It's
either.
tough. Yeah, good job. You know, y'all tried. It's called Yule Ball.
Oh,
The
okay.
Yule Ball.
Yeah.
Oh, too advanced for me.
That's tough. That was tough.
I think she'll get this one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. What is the name of the cat belonging to Felch?
Ooh, that's hard. I know it, but like.
Oh. I have no idea.
Okay. I don't know. See, if
Starts with an N.
if you haven't read the book, you might not.
It says it in the movies.
I don't recall that.
Okay. You ready? It's
Yeah.
Miss Norris.
Oh,
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't.
See, that's how I am. Like when you say it, I'm
these
like,
new ones.
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so okay, this one y'all might get.
Okay.
Dumbledore went to meet Tom Riddle at
Mhm.
the orphanage.
Mhm.
What did he have Tom Riddle take out of the? I can't read it. Cut it off, but it took it out of the little storage closet he had. Oh, you should get this. Now, it's not a one-word thing. What it was things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember what he said.
Take your time.
Oh no!
Come on. It's the way he obtained the items. Oh my god!
Yeah, I mean, I know what he said. He said thievery is not permitted at Hogwarts.
So it was.
I don't know. Money?
I don't know either.
It's all the things that he took from the kids.
What
So
did-
you were right. It was the things he stole.
we thought it was like certain
Yes.
items.
Okay, here's one more because I want y'all to get one right. What happened to Neville's parents?
Oh,
Come on.
do you know?
Oh gosh, no, I don't.
Neville.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Mackenzie.
I'm bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Cruciatus curse.
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh, it's been a while, you know.
These are actually like I don't know
Those
where
are
these
hard.
came from. Oh, I skipped a bunch of them. Like, you asked the divination teacher's name. Do y'all know that?
I mean, I know who she is. I don't remember her name though. See, that's where I am.
Yeah,
I can do
Trelawney.
faces.
If you don't read the book, you might not know
Yeah.
that. There are great books, though. By the way,
Maybe
you should
I
read
should
them.
read
You have
those.
plenty
I
of.
should.
Do you read?
I used
I mean,
to
like,
read, but
leisurely?
then I used to read, and then I got on a treatment, and it like made my eyes like weird,
Hey,
so
my
I
eyes
couldn't
are
read
all weird.
anymore. But
So
it's
is it
getting
like?
better,
Is
so
it
I'm trying to
still?
read again. No, it's better now.
Yep.
Thank God. Thank
I've
God.
been swearing up and down. Like I'm like Courtney.
He did.
I can't see
The
real good far away.
abbreviation was GO. Did you do that?
Mm-hmm. All right. Did you do it,
Yeah.
Kenzie? Go
Do
is the
what?
like a treatment, an immunotherapy I did was go. It was
Oh,
called. That was like
no.
short. Okay. It got
No, I
my
didn't do
eyes like
that.
where I can't see good far away.
Oh,
Yeah.
weird. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
mine
like
was,
I can see great up close.
yeah, mine was, I think it was my first clinical trial. Like, I just had all sorts of things
Sure.
going on with that one, but I'd be like looking at my phone, reading something, or like reading my book, and like after like 5 minutes, I'd be like cannot
Yeah.
read it. So it was just too frustrating for
I
me,
get
but
that.
it's
We
better
just now
now.
started like reading. We picked it up. We're like, all right, I've been reading the Harry Potter books, and then like we were like, oh, we got to get into some other books, and
I've done like a lot of audiobooks.
that's not reading, though, right?
Yeah,
like we
that's
can
what he
all
said.
agree. That's
He's
cheating.
like, that doesn't count.
It's cheating. They're like, oh, you need to get this book on audiobook. I'm like, that's a movie. That's a movie with your mind.
Yeah.
It's a podcast.
That's exactly what it is. It's a podcast.
It is a podcast.
Heck yeah.
That's funny.
Well, we're so glad you came on today.
Yeah,
This
thanks
is
for hanging out with us and
all of our.
all the technical difficulties.
We had a
being
Of
few.
patient.
course.
Yes.
It was my
Yeah,
pleasure.
and
I
we
had
really
fun talking
appreciate
to
you.
guys. Yeah, I appreciate
Same.
you
I'd
guys
love to have you
too.
back on when you get, I don't
Yeah.
know, just when some time goes by and
As soon as you
maybe
as soon
when
as
we,
you feel like it again.
we'll see where you're
Yeah,
at and we talk.
I'd love to.
That'd be cool.
We'd love to have you and your husband on together.
Yeah,
I
that'd
think
be
that would
cool.
be that
Oh
would
my
be
gosh.
nice.
I'd love to see him on a podcast. So I don't know how you would do, but
It'd
you
be
guys are
great.
really
It's
easy
fun.
to talk to. I think he'd really like talking to you guys. So you
That'd
guys
be
are fun.
great.
Good.
We're believing in all you're doing, and we're keep doing it. Keep doing your mantra. Keep what cancer took from me.
Mhm. And
Keep
she's
doing
the
it.
storm.
Yes, keep doing it. It's
Thank
great.
you.
We love it.
Thank
Well,
you.
awesome.
Yes,
Well, thank you
me
so much,
too.
and let's connect some more. Off
Mhm.
air, and everything. That'd be awesome. So
Awesome.
we appreciate you.
Yeah.
We're gonna
appreciate
play
you
this
guys
music
too.
though because we have to,
Okay.
because everybody will shout us out. But I'm gonna holler at you once we get off.
Thank you, Kenzie.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Good luck with your transplant.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.